Hmm. Uh, cool. I was about to check to see if it was working, but I got a nice comment. How's it going? How's it going? Just one second. Let me pull everything up. Usually, just like to get a little tab to put on one of my screens, just to keep a watch on what's going on. One second, 1 second. I gotta pause it so I don't get a huge annoying audio echo back into the double mic. But anyway, what's up? How's it going? Power? How are things going? I haven't yet posted the stream anywhere. What's up, Jared Punch? Let me get to that, and then I will, start getting things going and start reading some of the comments. Start seeing what we can bring to the table this week. I think there was a lot of actually setup chapters now that I think about it. I'm just thinking, like, we had Jujutsu Kaisen was mainly, a combat chapter, but it was more of a display chapter. Obviously, Yuji, laid hands in on that grasshopper curse, but it's not like he was supposed to be some big shot guy. He was literally just this character is going to get beat up just to see, this character, the main character do something after so long. It was just a nice thing. I mean, well, how would Asta become vice captain? He was gone for 6 months, where Yuno was there. I'm sure if Asta stayed around, he would move up in ranks, but he's busy. It's like with Naruto, when Naruto was gone, everyone else moved up because they were actually still present, whereas Asta was completely gone. He was away from everyone else. One second, let me get posted in a stream on Twitter and see if we can get any more people to come hang out. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna post a bunch of stuff. I'm just gonna post a bunch of different hashtags in the hopes that some people come and hang out, and then we will get to the discussions themselves, and hopefully, I think we should be able to get some good dialogue this week. There was a lot of really good stuff that happened. I haven't done my review on Zipman Chapter 2. I thought it was pretty solid. The series itself seems pretty good so far. It seems like it's gonna have some really nice kind of like back and forth between the main character and his brother, which I like. As somebody with brothers, it is just a little bit of a relatable thing. Not too heavy, but just enough to get some insight on the relationship, and that's what the main character Kamine and his brother seem to have. So I think that's cool. What's up, King Sidman? How's it going? How are you guys this week? How are things with you? What's going on over on your guys' end? We got some solid stuff this week. I think the only thing that I wasn't a fan of, not entirely. I mean, it's not manga, but I do it on the channel. Is the Ruby episode? I was just kind of unsure really how to take a lot of moments that I thought it was kind of weird in some aspects, and really I don't know if you watched the video, like they try and make out they've tried to make out so many scenes with characters like like you should feel bad for one, and some like other characters like some like cheated stuff, but it's like no, you're making me feel bad for the guy that's supposed to be the bad guy, and the person that's supposed to be the good guy just comes off as a dick. I don't know. And they catch up 100 years quest. So I'm intrigued to find out what happens next. Laxus being gonna drop a new skill is exciting because it's like, what is he gonna have? I know that there's, for one, like something he dropped in the Alvarez arc being the red lightning. I'm kind of hoping that's forgotten about. I didn't like the red lightning. That's actually one of the things that I don't think a lot of people talk about, but I'm not a fan of that scene. But then you'll get stuff like Irene giving up, and I don't think that it deserves as much criticism as it gets. But something like the Red Lightning, I just don't enjoy. I didn't like that whole part of the manga and the battle. I thought it was just kind of out of place. There wasn't really anything that you could really make a whole lot of sense to it. I still think it was just like Hiroshima wanted to do a Breaking Bad reference with Mercury Fulminate. But again, sorry, just had a little cough. Again, I can't really say 100%. It's really up to speculation. Maybe he'll bring it back and be able to, use it more to, get a better sense out of it rather than just the initial kind of existence of it. I'm hoping for something more like True Dragon Force. Maybe he ended up somehow learning God slaying magic from Orga, or he's got I don't know. He's like integrated fairy law into his lightning, because I still think that when it's said and done, the next leader of the Fairy Tale Guild should be Laxus. I know there's like Natsu, and he's the main character and all. I don't think it would be a spot that he would like, so I'd never agreed on like the idea of that, other than it's like, well, he's the main character. Erza, I know that she's a very respected, very liked character. They actually just did a recent poll. They did a popularity poll. I think Erza got second, Natsu got first. I still think it'd be Laxus. I mean, especially after the statement that he had when he was talking to Kiria about the whole aspect of that he's not strong in the way he sees things. He's got a weak heart but strong body. I like that aspect that was given for his character, and it's such a nice and noticeable development from what we got back in like the Fighting Festival, that I think he deserves it personally. I want to see that for Laxus, and it'll be just a complete and total delight to see like how much development his character has gotten over the course of what was it? The Fighting Festival was more than 400 chapters ago, especially when you take into account like all the side material that's canon. Really, I don't know, but whatever. As it is, I will really much like to, as long as it makes sense, go with any of that. But I think Laxus is deserving the most of being the next guild master, personally. I'm pretty sure that the Demon King Ziggy was evil. Plus, you get a title Demon King probably. Yeah, so my guess is that similar to Shiki, he's a nice guy until you put any form of threat to his friends. And it's not like, normal shonen main character, like, you piss them off, mess with their friends, and they're gonna give you the hands. The way that Shiki is been portrayed is how I'm guessing that Ziggy was. That when the whole like look at like Kurnai, a lot of like the parts and like the panel layout, Shiki kind of felt like a bad guy. He felt a little bit like a villain, and I like that idea of that being like a differentiating point. Is he's much more serious in that aspect. He's much more willing to go into a darker territory for the helping his friends, and we know that like Haru doesn't like to kill, Nangatsu doesn't like to kill, but he's willing to kill. But if Shiki's just like, oh no, you mess with my friends, F you, full on, you guys are going to the grave. I think that would be a really nice way to kind of differentiate his character even further than it already is. But I actually really like that scene in Heroes that was in the chapter when they're, you had the girls talking about the similarities between Shiki, Haru, and Natsu. But then you have just like their reaction to, quote unquote, losing to Genesis, and each of them were very different. And so you're able to fully see, like, oh, yeah, they can have aspects that they can relate to each other. But when it comes down to it, you can still see that the characters are different. There are aspects that are completely peered away from them. Obviously, one of them being how they can handle loss. And Shiki didn't seem to care for it. Haru was using it as a learning experience. Natsu was frustrated, and he didn't want to accept it really as a loss. So that's just it was just a good moment. It was such a nice little subtle moment for their characters that I very much enjoyed. Let's see. What else? I'm studying for finals. Well, good luck for your finals, man. No one hurts. Penny. I do really like Penny. Penny's character I have really enjoyed in the series, and even though I haven't been too keen on the last couple volumes of Ruby, I do like Penny, and it is delightful to see her back. She's got a very likable personality, and her as a character is just always a delight to see. Just pretty much exist. I mean, really, I don't think there's ever a point where it's like, Penny's here. No, Penny's fun. She's just such a delightful kid. But, I heard they said Pino could have betrayed Eden Zero once she becomes human. I'm really worried. They think that how much she wants to be human. I don't think she'd betray them. The thing is about Pino is she has pretty much the personality and the mental state of like a 5-year-old. If she somehow betrayed them, it would be like it would just be trickery. There wouldn't be like malice or any form of like, oh yeah, this is more important to me than being on my team. You can maybe work out something for like another character. I don't think it would work for Pino. She seems too pure, and I mean that really in like an age thing. She just seems too young for that to really be the case. Personally, Johnny Young Bosch being attacked for replacement of Vic Mignogna. It's Broly. It's a curse. Who's attacking him? Is it people that like Vic, or is it people that just don't like Johnny Young Bosch? Because then I'm concerned or kind of annoyed. I can understand why people who really like Vic Mignogna as Broly would be upset of it, and anyone for replacing him. But the question is, are they mad that he's replacing him, or are they mad at him for some other reason? Johnny Young Bosch is badass. I don't care what anyone says. Getting mad at him, pointless. I don't know where they're coming from. As he's talking about SJWs or big fans. Yeah, that's what I want to know. I'm curious what Knowledge of Wizard King I'm calling. I still think it's going to be Fuego Leon. Fuego Leon, to me, I just think is the proper candidate. I think he has the best positioning and reasoning for it. Because, like, for instance, like I said, if Nozel became Magic Emperor, if he became the one to take over his position, then who is going to lead the Silver Eagles? Who's going to be in charge of them? It's not like you could work out, oh, somehow Noelle was the boss, kind of like, moving up in ranks. For whatever reason, Noelle becomes captain. You couldn't really work that into it because she obviously wasn't there. She's off doing stuff with, the whole crew in the Heart Kingdom. But who could replace Nozel? Whereas with Fuego Leon, if Mara Leona didn't if it didn't end up like disappearing and going to do her own thing, she could be still that captain of the Crimson Lions. Who'd replace Fuego Leon not Fuego Leon? Who would replace Nozel is the problem I have, and not just my own personal belief that should be Fuego Leon, and also the question of where exactly are they going to pull somebody in to replace them on just the captain basis, There's obviously some stuff you can work out in there, but as of right now, I'm not entirely sure where it could go. Johnny's getting attacked for being friends with Vic. Well, yeah, they just have to let it get over it. I would like to see where they're going to go with trying to harass Vic Mignogna's, they're not Vic Mignogna, harass Johnny Young Bosch for being friends. I mean, what are they really going to do? What has Johnny Young Bosch ever done? Dude's a goddamn Power Ranger. Where are you gonna pull out some like badness for him? I've never heard of anything bad from Johnny Young Bosch. I mean, I think the only guy that I've ever heard of as a Power Ranger doing something bad was like that dude who, I mean, he did kill somebody. He did it in self-defense though. But I think he still went to prison. So hard stuff. But whatever. I will wait to see what exactly their plan is, what exactly they're going to reveal towards this whole story, and what's really next for them. I don't expect it to really, I would say, go the nicest direction. It's all going to probably be pretty sour. I mean, what else are they going to really pull out of this? It's only ever been sour. It's only ever been people being grouchy, so whatever. We'll see where that all kind of leads to. Eventually, we can't really predict the future. I'm guessing it's just going to be people mad, and then nothing beyond that. I mean, really, what are they going to do beyond what's already present? Are they just going to be grumpy at him? I mean, where are you going to pull at it? And good luck trying to pull him away. It's not going to go anywhere for you. But you can cry and complain. It won't work. Noelle seems a bit more open about her feelings. I think, yeah, mentally, I don't think she's gonna reveal anything as of yet. I don't think it'll happen for a while. Maybe like near the end of this saga, because I think that this is gonna be more of a saga between what's going on with the with the Spade Kingdom. I was like trying to figure out like what kingdom. There's four real kingdoms, and like two of them are on a team, and one's pretty much demolished. And I'm over here like struggling to be like, what are they calling it? Spade Kingdom. But because I still think that it's gonna be similar to the Elf Resurrection arc, because everything before that really was in its own story, but tying together to create a bigger one in the end. So I think it's going to be something like that. We're probably going to have multiple arcs around the Spade Kingdom, but all in all, like at the end of the day, I still think it's gonna be like it'll be pretty much as long, if not longer. You know, a couple hundred, like 200, maybe 200 plus chapters total. You know, with this whole battle for the Spade Kingdom, because the Dark Triad alone is going to be pretty formidable, and you know, after them we still have Megicula. So the question will be like, how long is Tabata planning to really run that whole story between them? I think it's going to be fairly long, but I mean, really, I don't think he could really make it short. I mean, it's going to be a pretty significant arc, and he's already said that he's like prepared for Black Clover to go as long as like Naruto and One Piece. So when you take like an entire like saga for 200 something chapters, and you prepare a war between kingdoms, I just imagine he's going to have similar of a length for his storytelling. I'm not 100. I can't say 100%, but it is what I would guess. It's from what I can just kind of formulate by the experience that we have of Tabata and the series so far. You know, it would seem really weird for him to cram this big war that he's been hyping up with the Spade Kingdom in such a small amount of time. I mean, we could see. There's always the you can't predict the future kind of thing, but all in all, I don't see a reason why he would cut it short. It just makes sense to me that we would get another long arc, another big story piece for Black Clover in the massive length that I think we'll have for the Spade War. I mean, what other thing is he gonna pull up? I mean, there's stuff that we could have. Obviously, like he's got plans for the series. It's not like he's just winging it and just making up more stuff as it goes along. Well, in some aspects, but there's clearly a plan in place from Tabata. I mean, I think that's undeniable at this point. The dude is, for one, very much shown that he's very well at foreshadowing. He very much knows what he's doing and very much has things prepared for the long run of Black Clover. So I know there's still people that think he just kind of pulls stuff out of his ass, which is easily proven not to be true. But there's always going to be stuff that he makes up, just deciding like one day maybe he's writing something. He's like, oh crap, this would be a really cool idea. I want to work and see how I can add this into the story. But I think similar to, a lot of mangaka, he's got a lot of stuff prepped up long in advance to really kind of like get stuff out there. For instance, was it Tokyo Shinobi Squad? And you can look at this for like any series that gets axed. It had its manga axed, and you see like in the last chapter like a bunch of villains that were probably gonna get shown in the next who knows, next arc, or maybe like the plans for like the big villains, similar to like for Tabata, even Hungry Joker. Like the end of Hungry Joker, he just showed a bunch of the characters he was planning to use, like the whole bad guy group, all the characters like with their boosted up powers and forms. There's always going to be stuff that they have that they set up and they want to use, but end up not getting to for whatever reason. So there'll always be a sense of just distance planning versus what unfortunately they only got to show, which is painful in concept when you think about it. It's like you have all this passion and all this work towards an idea for it not to come true. I wish I could. I really wish I could draw to do my own stuff. Which, I mean, I gotta draw. I just recently bought a drawing tablet. I'm gonna have to try and get good, or at least decent at drawing. But for now, I can't, and I really... Oh, dang it. Wait a second. I really wish that I could. So, for me, who wishes I could execute that, passion for writing and through, story and whatnot, it's just kind of, like, depressing in the idea that, you could work so hard to create something for it to get cut short like that. I'll always find it just to be like a sad solo existence problem. Obviously, there's things sadder, but it can't be overlooked. It's depressing. I don't know. What's your guys' take on all that? What do you guys think in regards to something like you have to give a series more time to really get a lot of stuff out that they want. I don't think that the amount of time that Shonen Jump gives a lot of series is sufficient enough for them to get into a spot for a big fandom. I don't think for an instant that they are going to be able to really get out some like big dedicated story and following in what is it, like 10, 15, 20 chapters. You need a lot more time. And it's always going to be unfortunate when you see authors at the point where they're not getting the amount of viewers they need, or whatever it is, popularity in the manga. So they start rushing, and they're getting very desperate. It hurts me in my soul, because I want them to do well, but unfortunately it's not always going to go well for everybody. It's sad to think about, but it is an unfortunate reality of the world, and we'll always have to deal with it. But for now, you can at least get your hopes on the series that whenever they're presented to end up hopefully doing well. I know Zipman just came out, seems pretty cool so far. I enjoy it. Chainsaw Man seems to be doing really well. Jujutsu Kaisen is getting more popular, which I enjoy. And Black Clover's doing really well. My Hero Academia is doing really well. We just gotta support the series that you like. Personally, I think I like the idea of, it's like, if I'm not sure if I'm gonna like the series, I don't think you should have to really like, oh well, I'm gonna dedicate all this time and money to all this cash just to try it. Kind of like in TV, it's kind of like how I see it. It's like, you pay for the entirety of it, and then you can buy whatever merchandise or DVDs or whatever you want, digital copies. After that point, is if you want extras, or you want to support it. And also the things that I've gotten really kind of tired with a lot of American comics and with manga and stuff, I really like the Shonen Jump app style, because like it's pretty cheap, and you're paying for you're paying for the entirety of its digital service. And you're like, oh well, I already own the service. I already got a subscription, so I might as well try this new series, see if I like it. You like it, you buy volumes and stuff. And I think it helps a lot of readership grow, and it's easy to try out new stuff that rather than just massive amounts of piracy instead. But more mangaka, or not even manga, more publishing groups, more magazines really need to get on that subscription service like Shonen Jump is doing. I think that they really hit a good thing with that. I actually really want to see what their numbers are, because it has to be pretty good. I mean, it's already this is about to be a year in actually, and it's still going. I haven't heard any bad stuff about it, any issues rather. Because usually when you get like subscription services and stuff, they tend to get a lot of attention, and like for like faults and whatnot, any issues, especially like fresh in, like Disney Plus had a bunch of issues at the start with its presentation and a lot of what it was doing. Like I know there was like a lot of lag issues, and I think there was like hacking into accounts and like personal information given out or something. And stuff like that, easy to catch attention towards. Whereas like I haven't heard anything about the Shonen Jump app, so it's gotta be doing pretty well. It's gotta have been pretty solid if it's able to really gotten this far without anybody having any complaints over what's been going on. So at least there's that. I really am looking forward to this next week of stuff. We got a lot of really interesting, just kind of chapters to get to. Obviously, Black Clover, we have Yuno, who's gotten information towards something happening at Hage, and we know that guy showed up calling a master. You see a lot of people speculating that Yuno is going to be related to the members of the Dark Triad, which would be really neat, actually. I would like to see where Tabata is going for this, mainly because I might go against my theory of Yuno, at least the person in the body. Maybe the body is the one that belongs to the Dark Triad sibling, if the theory is correct. Because I've always liked the idea that the son of Licht and oh my god, how am I forgetting her name right now? Oh fuck. Oh my god. Now this is gonna bug the hell out of me. What is her name? The Licht's. Oh my god, Licht's wife, Lumire's sister. How am I for Tedia? There we go.
the fact that, maybe he is actually their kid, and the reason that he doesn't act any different is he was raised, as a human. He doesn't have that hatred and animosity that the elves have, because there obviously are bad humans in Black Clover. That is 100% a fact, but it's not like, that you're gonna get bad elves. It's just that they assume from experience that they're all gonna be bad, whereas Yuno would see, he would see the fact that they're not all like that. It's very selective. It would be really neat, actually, for it to be like,
For it to be pretty much, he's got OP soul and OP body, from different, two different factions. Just to add an extra layer of unfairness for Asta to have to compete up with. Teddy, yeah, I was trying so hard to think of like the Teddy. Okay, let me scroll up. Let me scroll up. Who's your favorite mascot? Happy, Pino, or Plu? I like Happy more because Happy actually has a lot of character to him. Pino hasn't got a lot yet. I mean, Plu can't talk, so you can't really use him. But Happy actually has a lot of good moments, and especially if you've read Happy's side story, where he's the main character. He gets a lot of really nice character moments and a lot of really nice spotlight, and you see him, cut away from other members of the main cast, and when he's on his own, how he pretty much, performs. And I like that because he's not just a mascot at that point; he's a normal character. And Pino, I think, is going to get that too, from what I can tell. She's already got like her whole subplot of wanting to be a human, and what exactly Mishima's going to do with that. You still read some manga? Yes, I am caught up. The last one seems really short. I don't know. That with that guy who, like, what's his power? Turns invisible or something? Remember when Asta couldn't ride a broom? Good times. So yeah, now he can ride a damn sword. Do gravity user Shiki versus Ochako? Shiki would one-shot Ochako. Ochako, I'm not a fan of her at all. I'm wondering how powerful Shiki would be by the end of Eden Zero. So we've talked about that a little bit. I would appreciate it. Like, obviously, I can't control Mishima. He can do whatever he wants. But the way that I'm hoping Eden Zero goes more is I like that it's more of whatever your ether gear, you have your own specialty. And it seems to be like their ships and kind of their weapons that are, big power stuff. Like big dangerous things. And Shiki, who's more about mobility rather than anything in the flexibility of his power, I think that's a lot more interesting than the scale up of power levels. Personally, just because unlike Rave Master and Fairy Tail, whereas like Rave Master had lots of weird powers, they weren't really stuck to one system. Fairy Tail's is more magic, and there are some diverted from that, with things like curses and stuff. But for the most part, in Eden Zero, it's very sci-fi, and I think it'd be a lot cooler for like the sci-fi aspect if it's more like your ships that are like the big things instead of like big power level stuff. But you still have like stuff like Shiki advancing his ether gear. I've seen people like talk about like if he gets like black holes. I think wormholes would be a lot cooler for Shiki because it would give him an extra level, an extra big plus on his mobility. And mobility has been the the big showcase of his character so far. I mean, look at Heroes, and Heroes, it's showing each of them as where they kind of focus as. Haro is more of like the kind of like utility combination of the Ten Commandments sword. Natsu is much more, he's a direct assault tank kind of fighter. He is a, head in the game, straight on target, rush in, battle, and figure out a strategy mid-fight. And Shiki is much more of mobility. He's much more of, of using the flexibility of his power to come at his opponent from different angles. It's just my personal opinion. I mean, obviously I can't control Mishima, but we'll see where that goes at some point in the future and see what his plan is for the characters. It's only a matter of time until we get more. I mean, it's at the moment it's more of like I would say for him it's pretty much just scattered right now. There's no definite one. Like, we haven't seen a whole lot of ship fights in Eden Zero, but we know like the ships are important. Obviously, we know the Eden Zero ship itself is special, at least compared to other ships, and then each character seems to have their own special ship whenever it gets down to it. I'm looking at Draken Joe. Draken Joe's got his own ship with the Belliogoer, And I just think that'd be a neater aspect than just strict power levels. If it comes down to a lot about, their equipment, their technology, because it just fits in my opinion, more into the sci-fi aspect of Eden Zero. I was wondering what power up I could use for Shinkai, and decided on him being dragon human hybrid, but I need to separate Tenka's final dragon full burst. I would recommend just kind of like maybe looking at other series, just trying to get up maybe like a grasp on seeing what exactly it is you're going for, and I think looking at other people's work can kind of just maybe you can get an easy epiphany of an idea, maybe something that they have done that just kind of sparks something in your mind. Personally, I think it's a good idea. Obviously, not just rip people off, but try and I think being able to use other people's works to inspire you and help you figure things out is in itself a pretty crafty and yet well thought of thing to do. Personally, let me scroll down and see some more of these comments. See who's already read that mascot one. At least that's having at least 2 to 3 mascots can avoid favoritism a little. Ruby X Penny is greater than Blake X Yang. I don't. God, that'll be so annoying. We're gonna have Ruby become lesbos with a robot. I'm really hoping that they don't do the stuff that with Blake and Yang that I think they are, because it can complete. I decided to stop talking to people on Twitter about it, because it's all Ruby shippers, and similar to Steven Universe, they're pretty much a toxic fandom in a lot of aspects, but. It would completely do away with Sun and Blake's entire story between them. It would completely just throw that in the trash. And shippers have this weird tendency that anytime characters talk to each other, it means that they should be in a relationship. Or versus like characters that actually are like depicted at some form of romantic existence between the two of them. I don't want it to be like with Korra and Mako. Like they decided in the last season of Legend of Korra. Oh, Korra's lesbian now. And so Mako's character just became irrelevant. He had like no existence in the final volume of Legend of Korra. And he was one of the only characters I liked in the series. So it was even dumber the way that they treated his character in that. But whatever. Whatever, I guess. I can't control these writers. They can, all in all, at the end of the day, they can do whatever they want. But it doesn't mean I have to, agree with whatever their decision is. I'll probably not agree with it. It's the nicest way to really put it. I don't think I'm gonna have like a lot of portions in the day where I'm going to just blindly go into any of these authors. I disagree with a lot of them all the time. Doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, I hate them, I could do better. I just think, as an observer, I can not particularly agree with what their decisions are a lot of the time, but whatever. It's not vital, but it is something just to kind of take as an observation. Personally, I think. Did something get axed? Tokyo Shinobi Squad got axed. I know that series got axed, and I think Beast Children got axed. Kamio, was that Kamui or Yui Kamio Cuts Loose? There was one other one that got axed that I've been real salty about. Tokyo Shinobi Squad, I wish that one to get axed. I like the design of it. I thought the art was really solid. The characters seem really neat. Fortunately, didn't make the cut, but whatever. Bring Aizawa a backstory. I thought it was funny that I've been saying for a while that what is it, Vigilantes. I like Vigilantes a lot of the time more than the main My Hero Academia run. That's just my opinion. But I knew it was important for a while, and then you get all these people trying to say it wasn't canon, and then here we go to straight tie into what's going on. And the main story has now something to do with, what's going on in Vigilantes. So, it's almost like people said before, hey, you should probably read this side series, because it's probably going to be important to the main one. And guess what? It just exactly was that. And after it, well, actually, I think what was funnier is it was after the whole thing about the new movie, and like how Horikoshi, he's screw the anime only. It's like it's ahead of certain events in where the anime's at, but not for the manga. And, these manga people, laughing at the anime only people because they kind of got left behind, and then the manga readers that aren't reading Vigilantes end up getting the same kind of situation, which was just all around neat in itself. I thought that was pretty hilarious. It just happens. It happens sometimes. Maybe they should get up and start reading the Vigilante series, because it seems like it's gonna be pretty important for them.
I don't know how much. I'm not caught up on Vigilantes. I'm a couple chapters behind, but obviously it has an important tie-in to the main story. So if you're a big My Hero Academia fan, why would you not want to? Why would you not want that to have that knowledge of what's going on? It's obviously important. It's obviously very important. So get to it. Quit being lazy. Get to the important stuff. If you don't care, then probably you don't care. I mean, it's kind of like there's a lot of canon side material in Fairy Tail, and I care because I'm a big fan of the series. But I imagine there's a lot of people that watch the series or read the manga that they don't care. They enjoy what they have. They don't care enough to read a lot of the side material. And I think the only side stuff that is like vital is Fairy Tail Zero, because all the stuff with Seraph and Mavis. I think that that pretty much needs to be read. Personally, I think that part is too important to be skipped over. But as it were, I can't tell people how to do their thing. Regardless of which, we'll see. I'm sure that there's gonna be a lot of people checking out Vigilante soon, but as of right now, there's a lot of people screwed and they don't know what they're missing pretty much. But the fun thing about that is now there will be a lot of people that can go, ha ha ha, I was correct on this aspect. I was correct on the existence of where this, as a reader, things should be going. And because of that, now they have some nice, fun little bragging rights over the rest of the fandom. Where this will go, I'm not too sure, but I would like to see. I want to see what Horikoshi's plans are, because the stuff coming up, obviously the big battle with all the villains is coming up, but what exactly is the plan beyond that? What has he got going on after that? I think that he's going to cut away from it being called My Hero Academia soon, and the reason that is there's the fact that he said about the movie. He said about this movie, this is probably going to be the last My Hero Academia movie, and I don't think he's saying like, oh, there's good at this, My Hero Academia is near a close. I think it's doing too big and popular right now for it just to be axed. But I think that what he's going to end up doing is kind of ending My Hero Academia and just having a continuation under a different name. Personally, it won't be Academia anymore. It'll be more kind of like related to them as like older, maybe adults, maybe kind of they're not going to be in a normal kind of carefree society anymore. It's going to be much more of like villain run, maybe kind of like a almost post-apocalyptic kind of situation, which would be really cool. I'm at chapter 100 with Kimetsu no Yaiba. That's good. The series is seemingly going to be over soon, so you better hurry. Favorite John Young Bosch role? For me, either Ichigo or Adam. Adam for freaking Power Rangers, man. I'm hoping Happy dies because I'll give Rebecca some character development. So the thing about that, I think, is very logical in what Mishima's going to do. Is like he said that he didn't plan for Happy Butt to even exist in the series when he, planned out Eden Zero. He just ended up happening. So there's the question of, well, what is the plan for the character going to be? Well, I think he's going to end up killing him off, using that for some character building, and get rid of that whole, like, well, it's the same character. Look, he looks just like Happy. Kind of problem and annoyance that has existed in Eden Zero right now. Personally, I don't know. I want to know what everybody kind of, like, has on this, this whole situation, because it really isn't a lot of times only Mishima fans that have to deal with some of these ridiculousness. You could have you can have an author make a character very similar in one series to like something he did otherwise, and it's only Hiroshima that has to hear all these complaints from all these people that probably don't even read his works, but just really want to complain about him. You know, whatever, do your thing. I'm not gonna. Well, I'll hate him a little bit just because I think that's really stupid, but I won't. I'll pity their unfortunate decisions. As nice as that's pretty much actually as nice as I'm gonna be able to make that out personally. I mean, really, can you think of any other artist that has to deal with it? Well, he probably doesn't have to deal with it. I doubt he gives a shit. I mean, really, I think anybody. I think for him, it'd be similar to like anybody that actually pays attention to Hiroshima is like after the point of knowing anything about his writing, actually knowing anything about what he's doing, you can say, oh, that's what you're saying is absolutely false. So, you know, you can complain all you want, but all in all, you're completely incorrect on the matter. And all you're doing is just looking stupid. I mean, sure, there's a bunch of dummies that will rally with them in this kind of complaint war, but that's really all they end up doing. Yeah, Teddy, I couldn't remember. I was trying really hard to remember, but I managed to get it. Wonder how I did Rebecca's backstory is. That's my guess is that Happy Bot's gonna be dead soon. We know that there could be 2 vice captains, 1 squad. Asta better be the vice captain of Black Bulls. He deserves it. Yeah, because there hasn't been a shown member that is the vice captain of Black Bulls. I think the reason that is probably like, well, maybe just never had one for the Black Bulls, and they're still fairly new. It's not like they're brand new, but it's not like they're a long-built traditional Night Order. So he could have just been like, well, he hasn't decided one yet, and it could be Asta. I think he could have it as Asta. Maybe that's what will happen when we see Yami next, is Yami will appoint him as his vice captain. Yuno is never an elf. It's not confirmed. I'm saying it's a theory. My theory is the reason that Yuno wasn't really, quote unquote, taking control is that he never had the sleeping elf. Like, I still think that he was said elf, and he was inside of his body, but I can't say for sure. Yeah, like I said, it's all speculation. I can't 100% be like, well, I think this is exactly it. No, I can give you a guess, but I can't give you like a confirmed existence of, well, this is for sure. Do you hope Asta finds out about Noelle liking him before the series? Well, it'll definitely happen before the series ends. Finish use Link Monster. I have a few for Yuma. For each of his archetypes, I hope some in utopic future. Oh, good. We'll get to it. I knew that it was canon the moment I heard of Stendhal. Huh. You think Wise is my OP than you think Wise is my OP than Iron Man? More OP than Iron Man? I think it would depend entirely on the Iron Man. Because I know there are versions of Iron Man that are pretty powerful. But maybe if you like looked at I think you'd have to look at different versions specifically of Iron Man, because it's not like, well, maybe I'm trying to think in general. Maybe like no Infinity Gauntlet MCU Iron Man, probably. But, I mean, Iron Man in total? No, I don't think so. So Iron Man's gotten pretty crazy in a lot of the time. I know that Iron Man is, he's had some big spotlight moments from just some events I know of. I know it's not, I can't just name all the, I think at one point he had god armor. Like, he made his suit out of, like, material from Asgard or something. And he got to be super OP. I can't say which storyline that is. I have no idea which one that is. But as it is, I can at least name that it happened once before. And that's all I really need to really drop in. But I think that he has a potential to be more OP just because of the fact that his is really more in any technology. I'm sure that there's probably a version of Iron Man that could do that. I don't know, but potential. There's the potential there. I can't say for sure. But I know Hiroshima enough to know that he likes to make things ridiculously OP, and it's always a possibility for him to do it again. Officer theory about
I also have a theory about Firewall Dragon. What is it? Would you like to see more hybrid and Black Clover? Do you mean more of like more kind of like Mars? You more kind of like Mars, where he's got some Frankenstein up grimoire. I think it'd be neat. I like Mars. Mars is definitely probably one of my favorite side characters, and I'm really looking forward to see him again. We haven't seen him in over 100 something chapters. We're at like what chapter what was the last one? 232, and we haven't seen him since the end of the Witch's Forest arc. That was over 130 chapters ago. So very very longing to see this character again. I miss him, and I'm hoping that we end up finally getting to him again, because why would we not want to see that badass fella again? And it pains me that we haven't got to see his existence in Black Clover in so long. Also, future captain of Black Bulls or captain of his own squad for future. Asta will make his own. I think he'll make his own. Because the one thing that I have a theory on is that there's going to be more Black Clover Grimoire users. I think that much is obvious. And Asta, I have this kind of like theory that he's going to end up pretty much being the one to rally them together, because at least in the Clover Kingdom right now, they have two different Black Clover Grimoire users between Asta and Patri. So they could end up getting more, and maybe that being kind of like Asta's eventual group. Maybe he has like a crew called the Black Clovers, which I think would be neat, and it would just kind of give further existence to the name of the series. Further kind of just tie into what exactly Tabata has maybe planned for it, because it's obvious with the existence of another Black Clover Grimoire, obviously Black Clover just isn't something that kind of ties to Asta, that people probably really thought for a while. Now it could be Black Clover, any of these characters with a Black Clover Grimoire. Obviously the Asta's still the main character, and I want him to stay the main character, but we have to keep in mind that there's definitely some more in the works coming up that Tabata has. Tabata's got planned. He's a smart guy. I think we can all safely say he's a smart guy, and he's gonna have a lot of things to really kind of like bring the series as a,
I want to say unity, maybe just existence, the series as a whole to really kind of a different creation, a different position, different existence of what's going on, But that's something we're going to have to wait and see about, because Tabata is clearly in it for the long game. He's absolutely in it for the long game. Like, the dude is absolutely not a slouch to stuff going on in the series. He definitely plans things out. He definitely has a lot going on, and he's going to have to convince his fans to be patient, because that's one thing I think we're going to have to really hold out a lot on. Patience is probably my weakest trait, so I'll have to really do my best on it. And even more so, because I want to do a lot of theory videos, but I'm planning to record a couple over the next 2 weeks to put out over the Christmas season, because I know that a lot of people aren't going to be in a clung onto YouTube and stuff, watching YouTuber theory videos and stuff over the holiday season, because Christmas is a very very special holiday, and I know even for me, YouTubers that I like, if it's on Christmas, I'm not gonna watch their videos unless I'm really bored, stuck somewhere or something. But the plan is for me soon. I'm gonna record a bunch of theory stuff, a bunch of theory videos, and get things hopefully going, set up. So during that time, I can put out a couple things for the people to listen to and speculate over until the holiday ends. So until that point, though, I gotta think of some more theory videos to do. It's been a bit since I don't think I've done one since my question of whether or not Asta's captain level. So I'll work on it soon. There's some questions I would like to look over and kind of formulate towards the series. Like Charming because she is a human in dwarf form. Oh yeah, that'd be neat. But we still need more humanoid species. I'm still hoping that there's gonna be vampires and stuff in the series, and
minotaurs, druids, and, well, druids aren't a species, but you know what I mean. Also, really quick, I really appreciate anybody here if they would thumbs up the video, but from the like button, and if there's anybody that's not subscribed, I'd appreciate if you would subscribe. I've been having some good growth on the channel lately. We're at about to hit 2,200. I'm hoping to hit like 20. I might be able to hit 2,400, 2,500 this month if we have a good one. Maybe it's a pretty big boost, but regardless of which, I I appreciate everyone for it, and I'm hoping the channel continues growing next year. I'm still waiting to hear on my sick Nasu figure because I want to do that. I want to do that video and do a
unboxing when it shows up. So I got to be patient. As I said, patience is my lowest skill. So hopefully I can hold down on it until it arrives, and then I can present it for everybody to see, because I absolutely want to see this figure. I very much need it, but my impatience level is too strong, and for now I'm going to just have to I'm just gonna have to hold out and figure out where exactly I'm gonna need to present myself in the findings of my decision. Also, Electronic versus Yuno Noah Lengris. See, we can't really use that right now because we haven't seen any of them except for Ross is that right now, and Asta alone. Because we can't use like current Noel, current current Langers, we can only use pre-time skip because we absolutely know nothing about the current ones. Asta can definitely take those ones in a fight. Like with the level that he's presented, how quick and easily he can go into his black mode, how big his black divider is right now. I don't think for a moment that those old versions are going to be able to defeat him. Like he's too strong in comparison, at least for those at that point versions. The last time we saw those characters, rather. Until we see their current ones, I would say Asta can definitely take them. When we see the next versions, yeah, I mean it's completely different. But until then, I don't really see what they're gonna hold up against current Asta. Current one's a beast. Current one is absolutely a beast. The current Asta, I would say, is definitely around captain level. So that thing to kind of like speculate for his character, it's definitely currently a possibility that he's going to present to the cast and really like the story itself. Like where right now is he going to is he going to fit in otherwise? Where are these other characters going to really be able to hold up against Asta? Because right now he's a freaking beast. He's an absolute monster, and there's always going to be the fact that the other characters are going to obviously get stronger at the same time he is. But until we find out how strong these characters got, we're not going to be able to really go into how much. It's all based off right now of the theories of fans, where exactly the characters are going to pretty much be existent as. I mean, because otherwise it's just fan fiction at that point,
My prediction is that it's squad, but first it should be called Black Clover. So I think Radis Sally Voucher. Oh my God, could you imagine? Just I don't know if that theory will come true, but could you just imagine how like OP a Black Clover version of Radis would be? Like, holy, the dude is OP already. He's got an absurd amount of potential, but just imagining what he would be capable of, if he got a Black Clover Grimoire boost. He would be ridiculous. He'd be absolutely ridiculously powerful, and I'd be okay with it. I really like his character, so I would love to see like just him juiced the hell up into a new position. That would be so flex worthy. His character is awesome. I think he's got a really solid reason to be a bad guy. I think he's got a lot of potential for the future. I think that he will absolutely be able to, be a character that if Tabata really wanted to have one guy be like a villain for an entire arc, he could put him in the crypt with all the dead wizard or magic emperors. I know some people go with Wizard King. I like Magic Emperor. I think it's a better. I think it's better personally. Plus, I think it's what it's supposed to be in Japanese. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it is at least because just from the way they say it in the anime, I'm pretty sure that they're the words because I know that wizard and magic are two different words, and for him, I would expect that he'd be able to resurrect all those versions of the Wizard Kings and just see. I said it again, Wizard King, Magic Emperor, all these versions of the Magic Emperor, and be able just to pretty much construct his own one-man undead army, the likes of which like the Black Clover universe has never seen. Because we already actually that would be even better reason to have like a bigger bad guy after this. Because it's like, well, how are you gonna have somebody stronger than a place with 4 devils, 4 people like as powerful if not stronger than the word devil? It's like somebody with 26 Magic Emperor zombies. Like that would be so absurdly strong. I can just imagine like the level of crazy hacks. Like Tabata would have to sit down and instead of like thinking out the plot for like a lot of what would be going on, then it would just be, but how do I make 26 OP versions of 26 OP versions of magic? I don't know. Because it has to be like, what do they have right now? They have 2 of them, and it's light and time, so you'd have to get only hacks versions. Only hacks. There can't be any. There could be, I guess, like somebody with just like a plain normal magic. They would have to just have absurd levels of like power output, of range. You'd have to have a reason to justify, like, well, how are they in the same kind of like territory as somebody like Julius or Lumiere? I'm very intrigued to know about what he can do. I've always hyped to see like stuff like that, just because it's a ridiculous idea, but it's a very possible idea, and I don't think that he has a reason to forgive the Clover Kingdom yet. I think that he really got screwed over for Raditz, and I would like to see him get his revenge, or at least attempt to get his revenge. I don't think he should be like, well, he should wipe out the Clover Kingdom. I would like to see like him get somewhat of revenge against the kingdom. Maybe not like kill everybody, but at least get like take out the people that wronged him. Just because we already know not only he was unjustly treated, but the Purple Orcas are a pretty corrupt group. Obviously not all of them, but we know that they aren't just some nice. They aren't some nice group with like some baddies in it, like the Golden Dawn. The Purple Orcas were straight a bad group of people, and they need to be they need to be fixed. They're one of the ones I could see getting disbanded, because we could have new Night Orders come into the new arc. Like, okay, maybe like 1 or 2 new orders formed over the last 6 months. Well, is it going to be more than 9, or did some disband? The Purple Orcas could definitely disband. I don't think anybody would really care, other than like the interest of like, well, what are they going to do with the plot? I mean, really, if the Purple Orcas disbanded, do you think anybody would care? Do you think anybody would be like, oh man,
I can't wait to see where, well, it's not even that. I would say, well, I can't wait to see what Tabata does with it. I would be uncare of what exactly happened to the Purple Orcas. I'd be like, I don't give a shit about those guys. I just want to see, who takes their place. Who is going to be the new, who's going to be the new Night Order that takes their spot? That's I think, much more interesting position to advance what's going on, to really just put them in a further spot for the series, personally.
What is Luffy yelling about? What magic should each Dark try? I want one of them to at least have a gravity power. I mean, we have absolutely no idea right now, but one of them I think should have a gravity power. I would want to see what else Tabata had planned for Haja before, unfortunately, Hungry Joker did get axed, but we did get Black Clover since then. But there is the fact that he definitely had a lot of stuff planned out. So it would be neat to see where he brings, could bring that back and put it on a different character.
Put it in a way that we could actually see more of the story, more of of the Black Clover world, more of what Tabata really in his mind. Just because it would be a neat thing to present for him, to present for him. I mean, what other reason would there be to what other reason would be to waste it? I think it'd be neat. What the? What do you guys think though? I want one to at least have gravity. I want one to at least be a gravity mage, just because we probably get like some cool stuff, like some some black holes or something ridiculous. I mean, I know that Yami has one, but Yami's is much more of like, and the aspect of it's some darkness that's eating stuff. It's not the same as like as a point where just there's infinite gravity. We'll see though. There's always the wait. There's always the unfortunate wait we gotta go through, but I believe in it. There's one thing you can always assume that whenever something comes out and teased is that Rax is going to be wanting to see it, and his impatience is too powerful for him. I mean, it's but easily my lowest stat. If I was in some isekai, since for some reason like 99% of isekai's characters get like, oh, my stat menu, I would have a very low stat in patience. I can't help it. I just always want to find stuff out. Can't help it.
What? I already read that. If you had a squad, what would you call them? I think for one, it would depend on my magic. I would definitely want to pick something like, because my favorite color is red. Pick something with red, maybe like Cinnabar, something really cool. Because obviously there's Crimson. Pick something like Cinnabar, and then I think my magic would depend on what animal I picked. But maybe like, what if it was like Cinnabar spiders or some Cinnabar? What's there another really cool animal? Obviously, dragon is like the go-to. I'm trying to think of like something else. Manticore. Manticore's too close to a lion. I'm trying to really hard to think now. Or like a raptor. Actually, a raptor would be cool. I don't think there's any dinosaur stuff in Black Clover yet. You could have like a raptor. That'd be pretty neat. Raptors are cool. T-Rexes are cool. Or maybe like actually, it'd be maybe like more of like another mythological. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one for sure. Even William is better than Purple Orcas. I don't know. I mean, the Purple Orcas are scummy, but William straight betrayed his kingdom and was like fully ready to like let mass genocide go down, which is I think the big issue for that. I mean, really, you can say like, well, they were scummy with the Purple Orcas, but I don't know if they were as bad as William, because at the end of the day, William was going to let every single person in the Clover Kingdom, get killed. He was going to let them all die for the sake of, helping Patri. And that's pretty messed up, especially when he's as a member of the Clover Kingdom, he's sworn to help them. He's sworn to protect. And he didn't do that at all. He kind of did the opposite. He was setting him up to die. So, sorry, fella. Definitely not a good thing there. Have you noticed that Hiroshima art style is starting to change for Eden's art? Yeah, there's some stuff, definitely starting to know a little bit. Like, the way that she keeps drawing a little bit. Some of the, just the more, like, scientific art things. I think that a lot of it is just because he's drawing something very different. But when you do magic stuff for a long time and now you're switching to technology, there's going to be differences in layouts and detail structures, and that's going to affect like his overall thing. And but it's a little bit different because like with Rave Master, it was because he could even Rave Master version is better than anything I could draw, but it's not like he was like, oh man, look at how great of an artist he is. He's definitely improved a lot since then. Not Squad Red Dragon is nothing special. I want to at least to stand a little bit. I want red or a shade of red, but maybe something cool. I think it would depend on what my magic would be for the animal attribute. I would, try and figure out something to kind of tie in. I mean, I guess, are there any members of the? I mean, I guess like the coral peacocks. There's no peacock aspect to Dorothy's magic. I'm trying to think of everybody else. I think everybody else is pretty in some way related to their. I guess not. Not Rill. I mean, he doesn't have any deer-like aspects to him. At least I can think of off the top of my head. Is there anything about Rill that kind of just says like deer? I don't know. I know that like the Ashen Deer when Julius was in charge of a squad when he led the Ashen Deer. I can't think of what's deer-like about young Rill otherwise. I don't know. Either way. Yeah, magic. I think magic would very much have to determine where that's all going. Because otherwise, you can just pick anything. But like, what if you got put in it and your magic was like, I don't know, something that had to do with like a tiger or something, and you put tiger in there, or like I don't know, a buffalo, some weird animal, something that kind of completely differentiates from what your plan was. It's hard to think about, but at the same time, enjoyable to think about. Some to speculate,
try and get a grasp on, try and get a theory of what you're doing, what your plans are, where could it go, what could you think about it. What's up, Emerald Wolf? What's up, Elric Huga? How are you guys doing? How do I read Emerald Wolf? So you're right. I read that and I was like, oh, Emerald Wolf. I don't think I've seen you before. But yeah, how's it going, guys? Heard memes from Go from the new Pokemon anime being a girl, gay, more shipping. No. So the new guy in the Pokemon anime, he's supposed to be like androgynous. He's supposed to be be like a pretty boy, kind of like Kirsch is. He's not supposed to be like some weird binary person or non-binary person. These guys are all be like, oh, you've got a guy that doesn't identify as a guy or a girl. He's some new Pokemon so progressive. That's not what he's doing. It's absolutely not what the character has been presented as. Just what kind of weird things you're coming up with. But whatever, do your thing, I guess. But yeah, it's not the way that all these people are trying to depict it as. They're trying to like turn it into some weird social justice Pokemon future when that's not what's happening. But whatever. 1 second, I'm looking at something right now. I'm trying to figure something out. Plates. Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading something, but I don't know. What would the point of doing that be that it would matter? I don't think it would matter at all. But I know there are people that think that it's somehow important. I think that just kind of like cheapens it, and it makes like all these like, oh, these are my identity things. I think it just makes it kind of like almost you're kind of using it more as a marketing tool rather than like, oh, I think this would be good on this character. I just like the idea of it being on this character. The writing that I have planned. Instead, it's just like, well, look what I did. You guys want it? It's like, can you calm down, please? Can you actually treat any of this stuff like with respect? Because that's what it's supposed to feel like, but it doesn't come off like that at all, and it just comes off like a bunch of like petty virtue signaling. That's the thing that bothers me about like the whole like Yang and Blake thing in Ruby. It's like, you aren't doing it. It's my complaint isn't that it. Oh, I think it's dumb that these characters are hooking up. I don't care about that. I don't give a shit if characters are gay or whatever, as long as it makes sense. But when you're like you're seemingly you build Blake and Sun over like 5+ volumes, and then decide, well, they're gonna be freaking. She's gonna be paired up with Blake now, or with Yang now. It's like it doesn't feel like you're doing it for any reason other than shippers. It doesn't come off as logical, because otherwise, then why did you do all that stuff with freaking Sun if you were just gonna do this? What was the point in building this whole part of this other character if you weren't going to you weren't going to do any of that romantic relationship with them? What was the point of that? Why build it up if you aren't going to have that be a present thing in the series. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that, but what was the point then? What was the point of constructing that aspect of this character's story if you're just going to disregard it for this other relationship that suddenly is just forming and character? You know these freaking stupid people. Like, oh, it's so logical. They were all nice to each other, so it makes sense that they're hooking up. You can be friends with someone without them trying to bang, and that's obviously the reason that people hate shippers so much. Is they have this weird thing about like, well, the characters talk to each other, so they have to bang now. It's like that's not how people work. But okay, I mean, yeah, shippers are a bit of a cancer. I think that's something that a lot of people have acknowledged over the years. So, and I'm sorry to. It's unfortunate because like I don't mind shipping in general. I mean, like there's just like a weird presence of shippers that it just becomes this really weird fest of, well, these characters should bang for X reasons, and it's like, do you actually care about the characters, or is it just the shipping that you care about? And a lot of the times they just care about shipping. They don't actually care about writing. It's like I was complaining about it a little bit on Twitter because I thought it was stupid if they end up going with this whole like Blake and Yang official couple thing, when again Blake had all this stuff built up around her and Sun, and I thought it would be a waste of writing. And you have all these people are just talking about, oh, Blake, she could be bisexual. And it's like, well, I'm not talking about her sexuality. I don't care about that. I care about the writing aspect. I care about the writing aspect of what's going on. It's the same way that I was annoyed with Legend of Korra, because I thought it was really stupid for them to completely like last minute like, oh, these characters, because they were friends, they should be lesbians now. Which again, there's some weird thing about these people that they think anytime characters are friends, it's viable for them to become a couple. But it completely made Mako like irrelevant. If you've watched Legend of Korra, Mako was a pretty cool character. Thought he had that kind of cool guy feel that kind of like if Zuko was a good guy from the start and not some angry pissed off fellow all the time. And Zuko was cool, but there was obviously the rage aspect of him. But you kind of take that character archetype and turn it more of like, oh yeah, he's like the cool pretty boy. I'm sure if poor Zuko wasn't had all the horrible mental trauma, he could probably have done that life. But as it were, he didn't get it. But as it was in the last volume of Legend of Korra, Mako's character was pretty much non-existent. There was almost no point to his character being in the series. He just was there. That it wasn't in any way useful really in the final volume. He somehow didn't get any time to like live up to being this guy who's been there since volume 1 and been a pretty prominent character. He just stopped being relevant, and that was the thing that I thought was stupid. And I'm guessing that's going to be what happens in Ruby's Sun, who is built up through the entirety of like volumes like 1 through 5, and now he's just gonna stop really being this relevant character. He's gonna fade into irrelevancy. I mean, hope maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt it, because just off of track record, personally, I think that it's safer to assume that he's going to fall into this state of relevancy if they end up going through with this. I don't know. I'm hoping not. I would rather it not do that, but I've seen it happen before, and I fully know that I fully can see, I could say I can fully see some of these signs, and I just don't like where it's, where it's heading off to. But maybe I'm wrong. I would rather be wrong than be right on this, is all I can kind of like say in full regards. I would much rather be wrong about something that I'm obviously not going to enjoy, because I think it's a bad writing point, than be right and be like, haha, I was correct on this. I mean, if it happens, it's like, well, I called it, but I would rather be saying, oh yeah, it didn't happen, the thing that upset me. It's better to be incorrect on that matter. Personally, I'd be much rather look at that and say, oh, I was wrong. Didn't happen, and I can fully accept that, because
at the end of the day, would I rather go, haha, I was right about something that I didn't like, or would I rather get something that I think is better? Which, obviously, I want the thing that personally I think is better. Let's see. Missed my question about Bleach. Oh, well, hold on. Let me re-ask it. I missed it. I don't know where it is in there. Re-ask the Bleach question. Re-ask it. Rex, what are your thoughts on the last chapter of Chokuyo's Shinobi Squad? It was saddening. I thought those villain designs in the end were really neat. I actually wish that the series didn't get axed. But the sad fate is the sad fate. I think if you introduce Shimon near the beginning of the series, it would have been gone longer. I don't know. I don't understand what Japan's thoughts were on the series, that they didn't like it. I would have to find a Japanese message board that would talk about it to see what their take on the series was, why they didn't like it. Better off without those kind of shippers. Yeah, shippers are cancer. Naruto had the craziest shippers, especially when Naruto ended. Yeah, Naruto definitely had some crazy shippers. I don't think Naruto shipping, though, is as bad as the Ruby shipping, because Ruby's fandom is super toxic. Super toxic. It's ridiculous. And because of that, they're a little... It's kind of hard to get into the series, especially when or that, at some point the conversation is going to lean towards... It's going to lean towards the horrible Ruby fandom. Obviously, they're not all bad, but when you have a fandom that can easily be compared to that of fucking Steven Universe's fandom, it's not a good thing. It's absolutely not a good thing. But it is what it is. Can't control these things. But you can look at them, be unfortunately tied to it, and just see where things can really go from there. Where you can just hope for the best, and that's what I think is the best thing that we could get out of the Ruby fandom. Just what is the saying? Expect for the worst, hope for the best. I mean, really, where else is it gonna? Could it get worse? I mean, yeah, it could get worse. Absolutely. I mean, I already assume they're just gonna turn everybody gay at this point. Not because it's oh well, this character was built over this thing. It's no, they're doing it for shippers. They're gonna do it for shippers. I remember seeing somebody was talking on Twitter oh well, it's they're a parallel to Ren and Nora. No, they are not. Ren and Nora were built as a romantic couple. Obviously she had romantic feelings for him since Volume 1, since literally the start of the existence of their characters, and yet they're getting compared to Blake and Yang, who Yang in Volume 1 was trying to get some dude, and Blake's whole character story was about how she had all these lingering feelings for Adam, even though he was a bad person, but she knew he was a bad person. She wanted to get over him. And Sun, who was a nice guy, who she it was obviously hard for her to lean towards, while being having all these back thoughts about this not so nice guy with Adam and Sun. I think a lot you can see that in probably a lot of other, probably more sitcoms and romance stories of the nice guy just getting screwed over because of the d-bag. I mean, really, that's what their character kind of existed as, and what beyond that was really going to kind of progress, but it just seemed to kind of devolve into, well, I guess now they're just gonna have a bunch of lesbos. Which again, I don't care if it logically makes sense, but I don't think it logically makes sense with what was constructed over the previous series of Ruby. I don't think for a minute that it makes sense. It's not what was being built. It's not where the story was going. It's just suddenly going that way for, I don't know, shipping reasons. I mean, give me another reason why. Oh, then that she had all this build up with Sun if she just was gonna hook up with somebody 100 deep. I mean, to be fair, that the people that think this is a logical thing and don't question the writing behind it are the same people that probably just want, oh, we need to have Weiss and Ruby hook up too. Everybody needs to get gay together. It's you don't care about the story writing, do you? No, probably don't. Whatever. Do your thing, weird shipping people. Do whatever it is you do. Choking Sasuke memes were pretty funny. But they're gone now. They won't ever come back. They're gone forever. What's weird at Union Zero is that people are she kicks Rebecca. Winter will be at a shit moments. We mentioned drawing the three their kids. What? I think honestly, I just in regards to shipping, I like the idea more of Shiki and Tamora more. I think that they're a better couple. I like their synergy more than with Rebecca. I mean, it'll probably be Rebecca, but can't say for sure. I would hope more for Homura. Just saying. Otherwise, they're gonna have to introduce somebody for Homura at some point. Introduce somebody for Wise, because Wise and Homura don't seem to really have much between them. Wise just there's the general he likes some nicely built chicks, but as it were. For top 10 characters of Bleach and the Tournament of Power, ignoring power levels. I get it. When it comes to like top 10 lists and stuff, I would have to do a video on it. And with Bleach, I like Bleach, but I'm not as like super well versed in Bleach. One of my friends, well, two of my friends rather actually are very big Bleach fans. I would have to ask them because even though I enjoy Bleach, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I don't remember from the series that I would have to go back and really find. Regardless of which, solid, good series. I still think that Bleach deserves more credit. I still love it. I still love the series of Bleach, and I hope that it gets. I'm hoping that it gets more attention soon. I don't know what would really happen that Bleach would get more towards it, but I'm always game for more Bleach. I still want there to be. I want there to be an adaptation for all the novels into the manga. And Kubo, I wish that he would get somebody else to draw it, and he writes it because he's got he's pretty much been doing that. He admins the novels. Why wouldn't he just have somebody else draw it? Like these other mangaka doing similar things with their stories, continuing, but obviously they're older. They've gone through this incredible workload of all these big manga. They're worked for years and years. So it's not. I don't expect them to be like, well, I think you have to. You're obligated to continue. You don't have to, but I think it's a very profitable, but also cool thing because you have the ability to now. Well, you training another mangaka. I mean, even if they want to do they could do a series of their own, or I don't think anybody's gonna be like, if you have all these mangaka out there that you could probably find some like Tokyo Shinobi Squad for a good example. I like the premise of the series, but obviously the author and the reception of the series, the response was not super. It's not like people weren't super about it clearly, but it had definitely a really good art. That's for sure. Now imagine if you had that artist who I would be willing to guess they want to make money, they want to be successful. Imagine if Kubo's like, hey, do you want to draw the Bleach novel adaptation? I'm sure he'd be perfectly fine with that. I'm sure he wouldn't be like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know what mangaka wouldn't want to not only get your name attached to a really big title, but also get to work with a very successful mangaka. Because even though Bleach has its faults, like any other series, it's still a really successful series. It's got 120 million volumes in print. So I mean, you can't deny that it wasn't a pretty popular series. So I think that would be a good idea personally. It'd be something to really kind of add to a resume. But even if you just did that, it's you're still tied to it. So who cares? You're still making all this money, and then afterwards, you're probably gonna have a lot of fans that will check stuff out you do just because you are attached to this other series they liked. I mean, look at Zipman. Zipman, one of the big things that is able to be looked at the author is the fact that he was an assistant for both Oda and Horikoshi at one point. So I mean, that alone is something to get some attention, which logically I would think, why wouldn't you? If you have this guy who has his name attached to two really big manga, including one of the biggest up and coming series and one being the largest selling manga of all time, you're gonna want to see oh well, what is this guy probably capable of? I'd like to know what they bring to the table. So I think it'd be a good idea. I'm really hoping that Kubo does something to to further down, because I want to find out all this information about Bleach and where Bleach is at right now, but I well, no, the novels are. I think they're getting an English release. I don't know. Something about not manga novels. I haven't been as keen on. I think I'd be willing to for Bleach, but I would rather it be a manga, just because one of the things that did also, one of the smaller notes about Bleach that I do really like is just Kubo's character design. I love Kubo's character designs. I love the way that he's got all these really neat aspects to all these characters, and I would hope to see more of them, because it just pains me to imagine like no more of all these really intriguing characters and all these different aspects of them, and
The way that it kind of like, I think, adds to the story. Obviously, like, you can't just have a series based entirely in art style, but I think there was just such a nice extra feeling to Bleach when you had just that super crisp style for Kubo's art. Obviously, infamous for the lack of backgrounds a lot of the time and overusage of ink, but it just really, all in all, I think gave Bleach its own identity, and that's one of the things about manga that you can really kind of easily get without even having to get too far into the series. Like, even before you have like some big plot, and all this kind of crazy stuff going on, you can have a character or an artist's identity tied to it. Like, there's a lot of the time where I'll pick up a series that I have no idea about. I'm like, I don't know anything about what the premise is. I don't know anything about what's going on right here, but I'm willing to give this a shot because maybe I recognize the artist, and I'm like, well, I like that artist's last work, so I want to see what they did with this one. There's one guy, I don't remember his name. I'd have to look him up, but he did the Voynich Hotel, and I really like that series. And anytime I see anything that I think is that artist's manga, because I know he does a lot of like short series, I check stuff out like purely off of just it potentially being related to him, just because I like that guy's storytelling. I like his characters. He's pretty funny. But he has a lot of like really interesting stuff to add to the series, and it just gets weird with them as well. And like I said, it's just a nice extra thing when you can tie art to the series on top of it. And there's obviously you can get annoying stuff too. You can get all the people that think that Kira Mishima was like an assistant to Oda, and he's ripped off Oda. Like, funny thing is, like, I talked to somebody about this recently, just on that topic. I talked to somebody recently about it, and they said, like, when they tried the fairy tale anime, a lot of the time it looked a lot like One Piece, and I know, like, in terms of appearance, there you can get that problem, but really, like, when it comes down to it, I think it was really just, like, the weird noodly arms that you get in some of early fairy tale in proportions to like, well, with One Piece, that's like a standard thing. It's the weird noodly arms. That was just kind of existent for early fairy tale, but stopped being a thing. I wonder what chapter like it actually stopped. I have to go back and look. There's some parts where just like things will cease. Like when you go look at Pino, early, like, Pino for the first couple of chapters looked small, but she was more like a dwarf, and then she just became super chibi, which I'm okay with. But something like that. Happy was very proportionally weird when he first showed up too, and then with him it kind of all changed. So there is that aspect. There is that aspect of where art can affect certain things that you couldn't do with a novel. Let's see. The Bleach question. Next choke. Okay, read that. Never care about the story if they do crazy shipping, and it's weird controlling. Yeah, shippers don't care about the story. They care about their ships, and it doesn't matter to them if the ships make sense. They don't care about it if it's somehow actually goes on with the story or how it affects the characters. They just like ships, and I think that's kind of lame. And I don't like the idea of it. Oh, manga is that on the screen? That is Chainsaw Man. That is the ever so unique and ever so crazy manga Chainsaw Man. So if you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend you go check out Chainsaw Man, because there is no manga in Shonen Jump like Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is one of a kind, and like I said, I highly recommend it. It's crazy. It's fun, and it's able to constantly just have this odd vibe to it, while just at the same time when crazy weird stuff happens, like when the main character rides a shark into a flesh hurricane thing, you're like, you know what, as weird as that is, that kind of fits Chainsaw Man exactly. And that's just one of the beautiful things about this manga. So I highly recommend you, if you're intrigued from the way that the panel looks, go check out Chainsaw Man. It is, as said, a very unique series and a very fun one at that. So check it out. Check out Chainsaw Man. And you can read it off the Shonen Jump app. I don't think there's not volumes, I think, set yet. I don't think they've given a date. I think there's speculations for like March. They're probably gonna announce it at Jump Festa, because Jump Festa, there's gonna be a Chainsaw Man panel. So I'm guessing something like, oh yeah, you can buy the manga. We're gonna be able to buy it soon. Whatever. I think it did really well in its first year. In Japan, I know it got like 410,000 volumes sold. I know there's somebody like, well, look at Spy X Family. I think it's already got like 2 million after like 2 volumes, something ridiculous. But obviously you're gonna always get like crazy stuff like that. But Chainsaw Man's obviously still doing really well, which makes me happy because I really like it. So hopefully other people check it out, because it is a very unique series. Chainsaw Man is a very unique series that I think anybody that likes shonen but is looking for something weirdly different, Chainsaw Man is perfect for you. What's up, Zach God? How's it going? Bankai Resurrection or Volstan? I like Resurrection. I always thought Resurrection was super sick. But if I had to pick a faction in Bleach, if I had to pick being part of any group, I would pick the Vizards for sure. Definitely pick the Vizards. Some we think is next on to some other protagonists. Solar Dragon Wave equals gets potential. Oh, that's cool. Is this going to be like a big slash energy attack like that, or what? How many chapters do you think 100 Years Quest will go on? We'll go as far as I have to say, like 200 chapters. I think it'll all depend, because right now it took, what did they finish with Mercephobia at? For like chapter 24, but now we're at chapter, what was the last chapter on it? Was it 43? And we haven't even got Alderaan up yet. We're still at him being, he's still asleep. We haven't even got to his fight. There's still a lot going on. Probably won't get to him until like at least in the 50s. So I think each arc is going to vary, but I would guess something around 200, maybe like 150 to 200 chapters. I want to know if he's going to do anything beyond 100 Years Quest, though. I mean, there's always the possibility. I mean, as long as he's got ideas for stuff beyond 100 Years Quest, we could get more fairy tale, more story of what's going on with that cast. But that aspect, we're gonna have to just be wait and be patient to see, because as it is, there's only so much that we can have from speculation, because I mean, really, we can't just pull stuff out of nowhere and make assumptions, but we can, on the other hand, look at what we have and say, well, where can we speculate this to go beyond the current status? What could come more? Obviously, something like Ankh Saram. There's the possibility. I still think there's some weird stuff going on with Eleftheria, because that weird big mural thing and he's got on his wall that somehow tells him when one of the dragon gods loses their power or has been dealt with. I think it has to do with like either. Because we still don't know why Mercephobia somehow lost his powers after, he was defeated. My current guess has to do something to do with Natsu's Aetherius powers, similar to how, he burnt out Fairy Heart from Zeref. But there's also the possibility, it's like, well, maybe when they're defeated, they end up getting their power drained out of them somehow, and that has to do with whatever that weird mural is, and Eleftheria might be the bad guy. Because the Dragon Eaters, I don't think they're actually bad. I think they're just kind of, because they haven't done anything evil yet. But like what they're going after these dragon gods that potentially are dangerous. But what have they really done that would put them as bad people? Like in general, just like villains. Nothing yet. Eleftheria seems just sketchy, and the weird mural on his wall, it looks kind of like a portal or something. and I fully expect him to end up, turning on them and having some weird thing in there. A portal or some form of like energy gathering thing. Like maybe he's gonna combine all of their power after they get drained and take it for himself or something. For him though, there's the one fact that the 5 dragon gods, they're based off of the 7 luminary days. I think it's pretty sure it's just Japan, but there's 7 days, and the 2 missing because you have I think it's the water day, fire day, earth day, or not. Sorry, it's the ones that are used. It's water day, fire day, moon day, gold day, and wood day, and they're missing the sun day, like sun, and the earth day. And the thing about Natsu is Natsu obviously being summer, being another dragon slayer that will add to this and probably achieve his full dragon form. I think that he is going to end up being tied to this somehow. Obviously Natsu summer. Summer is very related to sunshine. That he'll end up being like an additional dragon god. I mean, he's obviously going to have to be as powerful as one at some point to fight with his brother. So it's like, well, what's the plan of what they're going to do there? And where exactly they're going to tie that in. And my guess is it's going to, be Natsu's thing. He's going to be the sun dragon god. Well, what about this alleged earth dragon god? And Elasaria, who I think is very sketchy. I don't think he's really to be trusted. There's the possibility that he is going to either bring about some form of Earth Dragon God, or he's going to become the Earth Dragon God. There's questions to be had with him. We still got some time to speculate, but as it is, it's not it's not something we can just fully leap into and grab right now, but it is something that we can just kind of get like a bit of a grasp on the matter and seemingly be able to really kind of, I would say, speculate. I think speculate is just the nicest way of saying it, because I mean, really, what reason otherwise is there to have something like oh, well, what's going to be the plan with Natsu? What's going to be the plan with Elasaria? What's Elasaria really doing with the dragon gods? What is he planning for their characters? I think it's suspicious. I think that he is not somebody that can be trusted, and I fully expect there to be some form of retaliation at some point from the dragon gods onto him. Because again, like what reason would this weird spooky mural thing be if he's seemingly a good guy? It's not something that is just, oh, well, it's just there for whatever reason. He's not doing something suspicious. He doesn't kind of seem like a weirdo, seemingly got some odd plan. It's definitely not something to be kind of looked at with a face as he's sending all these strangers up to go, fight him. Because the thing about the dragon gods, I get why the dragon eaters are after them. The dragon gods are, through some legends, like, depicted as dangerous and bad and, a threat. But they haven't really done anything to really seem bad. Whereas the dragon eaters, like, they're after them because they're, they want to eat them, gain their power. And for them, even though the dragon gods aren't doing anything, the dragon eaters aren't, I don't think they see them the same way as like a lot of other people do. I mean, obviously they're threats, but they aren't doing anything. Whereas Elasaria just wants them taken out for reasons, even though they haven't caused any problems. So from that, I would like to, I'd like to keep him in question. Like, I don't think that he's a nice guy. I think that he's somebody to really just kind of keep, like I said, a face on. Question his character as he does things, because I don't think for a second that he's giving them the full information on everything in this arc, everything going on with the dragon gods and everything going on with these characters involved in it. I mean, it's questionable. It's very questionable. Because so far, So far, the Dragon Gods, I mean, from the ones we've seen, we have Merciful, who used to be bad, but he's kind of, he's kind of becoming a good guy. We have, well, we got Ignia, who, Ignia is like, he's bad, but I wouldn't say he's really that, he's not pure evil. I would say that, he's a bad dude, but not like, not the same as like, oh, well, he needs to be taken care of right now. I think it's much more of, well, he was going around destroying countries like normal. Him I can kind of see. Maybe he's the reason why all these dragon gods are getting targeted. But for the most part, a lot of them aren't really doing anything. I mean, Alderon's been just sleeping. He's been just in a spot sleeping the whole time. Vierna's, we have absolutely, like, he doesn't even know anything about Vierna's. Mercephobia knew nothing about Vierna's, so I doubt he really has. I doubt he has much of an existence that it's like, well, he's a problem, he needs to be taken care of. He's clearly just some shut-in dragon who just does his own thing as well. But from that, it's like, well, what's the plan? What's the plan that you're gonna take? Because we don't know anything about Selene. Obviously, he's met Selene, but what's the deal with them? I mean, they're clearly not causing any problems, so there has to be some reason why he wants to take him out. There has to be something other than just paranoia. I think this is a good spot though. Let me catch up with some of the. Would you ever review Record of Ragnarok? I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm caught up now. I don't know if there's been a new chapter recently, but I'm considering it. Right now, I'd say right now my only issue is consistency. There are some series I would review on the channel, but I don't like to review stuff if there isn't like a consistent release of them. And obviously, like in Japan, it's consistent release. I mean, like translation, because I wanna keep somewhat of a schedule. I don't want to review something for like, oh, I have absolutely no idea when the next review will be. Like, oh yeah, usually for Fairy Tail 100, like for 100 Years Quest, it's like it's every other week. It's bi-weekly. Eden Zero, oh yeah, it's weekly. Attack on Titan, yeah, it's monthly. But like when you get something that I have to kind of like guess when it's going to have another chapter, and I can't like work it into a schedule. That just kind of bothers me a little bit. I get a little tiny bit. I wouldn't say OCD. I don't know. A little annoyed by it. Would it fall under OCD? I don't know. It's just something that will always bother me. I like when things kind of fit into a schedule. It doesn't have to be exact, but I'd like to know an estimate of like, oh, well, usually they come out every blah, blah, blah day. If it does, like, I do like Record of Ragnarok. I do want to... I am going to continue it, obviously. It's a good series. It's pretty cool so far. I was generally sad when Adam died. That bothered me. Sad day. Brooke was my favorite Fullbringer. She's cute. Out of the Fullbringers, I like her too, but I would... I don't know. I don't know about Fullbringers. I like the Vizards, but I don't know if I have a favorite Fullbringer. Bigger weakness, Natsu's motion sickness, or Shiki's fear of bugs. Oh, Shiki's fear he can get over. We don't know how the Dragon Eaters aren't affected by motion sickness. Natsu's, like, dragon slaying magic, like, motion sickness is like a straight counter. It is a thing to the ability itself, whereas Shiki's is purely a personal fear that he could get over. Theirs is more of, it's more comparable to the way that ropes are, binding up wherever the ether gear stems out of will make it so you can't use it. That's the equal kind of restriction for ether gear. Well, I want to say thanks. Your channel got me into Chainsaw Man. It's far too... Yeah, Chainsaw Man is fucking awesome. I love Chainsaw Man. It's so cool. Like, so, I just want to say, because I gotta end the stream soon. It's already been going for like 2 hours. I was only gonna go for an hour, and it's already been almost 2 hours. Is that a dude I know, he just started Kimetsu no Yaiba, and, I wanted to be like, hey man, what are you doing? Why aren't you reading Chainsaw Man? And he's like, well, I tried it once, I didn't really like it. And I was like, well, Chainsaw Man is the only series where you can have the main character ride a shark into battle, and it just fully fit what's going on. And he's like, well, I think maybe I'll give it another shot. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, Chainsaw Man's awesome. And Chainsaw Man's just so goddamn cool. It's such a weird series.
at the same time, it's so much fun, and you can't have like a manga generally be this weird, and it just feel like the standard, and that's one of the things I love about Chainsaw Man. Is you literally have the main character ride a big multi-finned shark into a giant flesh tornado monster, and you show that to anybody, and they're gonna be like, "That is what is going on?" And you're like, it's just Chainsaw Man. This is just how the manga is. Don't question it. Just get on the awesome ride that is the series. Yeah, Chainsaw Man is so cool. I can't wait for it to get animated. It's gonna have to get a studio that is willing to, get bloody, get gory, and just keep the craziness coming, because that's the thing that I think Chainsaw Man's best aspect of is you can't come into Chainsaw Man with like, oh, I theorize this will happen. Absolutely not. Chainsaw Man is too unpredictable. It's such a weird series that you can't really predict it. It's not something that you can really kind of like look at and have much of a means of being like, oh, this is what's gonna happen the next time. I know the author. The only thing, if you knew the author, you'd know that he's goddamn madman, and he's gonna do more crazy ass stuff in the next couple chapters. I can't wait to see where he takes this. It's so much fun. I'm not always trolling One Piece. I mean, I enjoy One Piece. I don't enjoy it as much as I think a lot of people enjoy One Piece. I think it's fun most of the time. Some stuff that's bothered me, but whatever. Frida to Madara one quote: "Those who treat themselves as gods are doomed to failure." Which one is Frida? Who's Frida? Anybody else in Code Geass? I'm 12 episodes in. It's pretty good so far. Yeah, dude, I love Code Geass. R3 comes out in it came out last year in Japan, but the dub, which usually I like I would say I like the source material better, but I really like the Code Geass dub. And that one, I think the DVD for it comes out in, I think February. I think February is when it comes out, and I can't wait to get it. I'm gonna definitely buy it. I haven't got to watch it yet. I know some of the spoilers, and obviously, I mean, you could literally look the spoilers that I know. You could literally look at the box and be like, "Oh, damn!" I mean, literally in the title. I won't say it because if you're only, you're only 12 episodes in, I won't spoil it. But 12 episodes, lots of crazy stuff even happens in 12 episodes. Yeah, I love Code Geass. Code Geass is definitely one of my favorites, and you got a little under 3 months to get caught up. You got plenty of time before you can get the next part. I was gonna see if I could find the R3 in just watch it in Japanese, but I couldn't find it. So I got this far. I'm just gonna wait for it to come out dubbed. There are some series that I prefer in the dub than the sub. There aren't a lot of them, but there's definitely some. Code Geass is absolutely one of them. Just Johnny on Bosch. Johnny on Bosch. There's a lot of really solid dub people in there. Also, just as a side note, I'm not a huge fan of his Japanese voice. I love Johnny on Bosch as a voice actor, but the Japanese one sounds weird. Like Lelouch sounds like an old man, which I thought he's like, oh, I can't even do like the proper. If you just look up a couple clips in the Japanese version, you know what I mean. His voice sounds so much deeper, and he just sounds like he should be like an 8-foot giant, like in his like mid 40s or something, Favorite Ruby shipping? No, you can't really ship anybody with Ruby. She doesn't seem to really have any interest in anybody. I mean, Jean and Pyrrha was like a really good one. Unfortunately, Pyrrha's dust. I mean, the only one right now that I think makes sense that is actually real is Ren and Nora. I mean, again, I'm not a huge fan of shipping for the sake of shipping. Anytime that I have, it's a ship, I think it has to make sense. I think there has to be some reasoning behind it. I don't like the idea of just having characters ship for the sake of ship. Obviously, like I said, that's one of the things I don't like about shippers. I think shippers end up doing that a lot, and it's, like I said, one of the reasons I think people don't like shippers a lot of the time. But those are, like I said, those are the ones I like. I would like to see more for, more ships, but only for them to make sense. I don't want more fan fiction ships. The fan fiction ships are where you start to get a little weird, and you get like people be like, oh, well, They should have. I know there's like jokes, but there's I've seen like entire charts of ships for Ruby. I know you get like what is that one? Sun and Neptune they call sea monkeys, and I'm like, oh, that's funny, but there's people out there that are gonna take that seriously and be like, well, that should be like their actual pairing for whatever reason. And it's like, no, you're trying to go through things that don't make sense just because you want it not to make sense, which I don't like. It's been very sad. I'm okay with any character hooking up with the other character, as long as it fits, and it actually like will make sense with the way that they're built. I don't want things just to be in ships just for the sake of being shipped. Personally, that'll always bother the hell out of me. Yeah. Ruby depended on his. I mean, as friends, yeah. Erza gonna body Denji again. Yeah. I mean, he definitely. I still think Makima's gonna need to show up. Wish me luck in my final exam. I need at least a 4UF. Well, good luck. What's up, man? You remember us mentioned in our why you should read Chainsaw Man video. If you ever want to do a collab, let me know. Okay, yeah, cool, man. Just yeah, I one of my friends told me he's got his own channel, Kid Otaku. He showed me, and I was like, oh crap, I was mentioned by somebody in their video. I thought was really neat. I remember there was a point in there was some Reddit post where they were talking about it was like in the Black Clover Reddit, and they were talking about Black Clover YouTubers, and I was mentioned, and I've got more subscribers than I thought I would have. There was just something extra special when I saw my name get dropped, and I had a little fan moment of just like, yes, I did it. I've got somewhat of notability, and yeah. So if you want to do a collab, then yeah, shoot me up, man. And I don't know if you've ever talked to Kid Otaku. I mean, he would probably love to do it too. He also does Chainsaw Man videos. We've been pushing the Chainsaw Man agenda. Chainsaw Man is fucking awesome, and I'm hoping more people get on it. It's just one of those series. I know when it gets an anime, it's gonna be one of those animes that gets popular just because it's so weirdly different than any other series out there right now. For Shonen Jump, and you could probably find crazier stuff somewhere, but it's something like Shonen Jump, absolutely not. Burrito is a split evil counterpart of Tenka. Oh, he went like Madara. Johnny Young Bosch is worthy of evolution. Yeah, Johnny Young Bosch is awesome. Can't wait for Goblin Slayer's Goblin's Crown. Does anyone have an idea when that's gonna come out? Yeah, so Controlled Chaos. Hit me up on Twitter, man. Throw me up on Twitter. My Twitter is under the same name. We can work out. We can talk about Chainsaw. We can go over some theories and talk about our favorite parts so far. I have a bunch of theories on just kind of like stuff like Fujimoto's plans for Aki. I really want to figure out what just exactly what he plans to do with the character. So I just think it's so interesting. You have one of the things about Chainsaw Man is you have all these characters who can just die at any moment because the author absolutely does not care about killing characters off. I can understand why a lot of mangaka you're not just gonna kill off characters all the time when you got a series as long as they're planning hundreds and hundreds of chapters. You can't just kill off a character to kill him off. But with Aki, who is he's got all these death flags at him, I think it's really interesting if his character he actually ends up living somehow, just because I think it would be hilarious to have the one character who's constantly like, you're gonna die soon, you're gonna die soon, you're gonna die soon, be the one to live. I just think that would be such a nice twist. And you can't I can't believe you live blah blah forever. And it's like everybody else dies. Almost everybody dies in the series. So I don't know why you're complaining about the one guy who we thought was gonna die ended up not dying. But as it were, we gotta wait to see. What exactly Fujimoto has planned. The thing with Chainsaw Man, he could go for a long time with it. He can go for an absolute behemoth, because one thing about it, it doesn't have to be Denji. It doesn't like literally Chainsaw Man. It could be anybody who takes the They just have to have the title of Chainsaw Man. They just have to have the heart of the chainsaw. I really like Denji. I really like his character, and I really want to see more development for him. But if he wanted to, he could pass it on, and it could just be the legacy of Chainsaw Man, like JoJo, and it could just be, oh well, Chainsaw Man, Denji, Chainsaw Man, whichever other character takes it up. But you can easily have more, way more arcs and stories than they currently are, because we already know that devils and stuff can form
based off of stuff that humans are afraid of, and they, it's an easy way to be able to play on a lot of stuff. You can do a lot of things based off real world events without it being obnoxious. That I think a lot of American comics are failing to do right now. But as it were, we will see what he's got planned and what he wants to bring to the table in the next couple chapters. I mean, because there's definitely going to need to be some stuff going on soon, because obviously we have the right hand of the gun devil, in operations right now with Erza, and she can't, even if she fails, runs away, gets captured, whatever happens, we're gonna have to see the gun devil in some regard, even in silhouette, and just see his reaction to this happening, because obviously if he's or she's directly tied to him, then there's gonna have to be a response to what's going on, man. I mean, it just makes sense. Yes, have a good time, man. I'm about to wrap up the stream. I just wanted to see if I could get Controlled Chaos's. Let me just look you up on Twitter and see if you have one. I might hit you up. I haven't even looked yet. Controlled Chaos. I don't know if you've got one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see yours. I'll hit you up, man. And yeah, we'll try to do a collab. I'll talk to my friend Kidotaku, because he really likes Chainsaw Man too. So I'm sure he would really want to join up and do things. We could. I could think it would be. Wait a second. I'm wondering if this is the one that this is yours, because it's spelled the same. They're talking about restaurants and stuff. I don't know. Either way, yeah. Check me out on in my either comment on my video in any of my videos you're at, or if this is the right one. I assume it is. But other than that, yeah. Thanks everyone for showing up, and check out my other videos. I'm gonna do my Zipman review and probably put that out. Maybe tomorrow. I might put it out today. I think I'll do A Gravity Boys today, because that series seems really weird and interesting. And then that Zipman tomorrow. Obviously, I'm going to take the brand new series a little bit over precedence, and then get Zipman, put it out. Might just say screw it and do both. I got the time if I really feel like it. And then maybe put out like a Black Clover Theory video or Fairy Tail Theory video tomorrow. You know what? I haven't done my theory for Fairy Tail chapter 44 for Under Jizz Quest. So actually, I'm going to do that right now. So, yeah, thanks everyone for showing up. And I appreciate everyone, coming to the stream, everyone commenting. And until next time.